Well met, adventurers! Sometimes we want to increase the tension and make our players have to act fast because there is a very perilous situation which is happening, and we want to be able to strike a little bit of fear into them as we go into the situation. And an amazing way to be able to do it is with a simple prop such as this. But what the hell am I talking about? Let's get into this. So yes, it is I, Nathaniel Gomezian, shopkeeper and proprietor of Gaming Treasure Chest. As I said, in today's video, we're going to be talking about the simple idea of including a timer within the certain situations that you might put your players in, as I said, to create a slight level of fear and also to increase their decision making because there is something which is a timer in front of them. Now, this video is going to be split up into certain sections in terms of the benefits of having a timer, different kinds of timers that you can use, and then different situations that you can put in front of your players whereby you can put a timer in front of them. So, without any further ado, why use a timer? As I said, it is a visual thing that you can put in front of your players whereby it immediately increases the stakes because everyone knows what the hell it means. It is a countdown, which is going to be meaning that something potentially bad is going to happen, and so they have to move fast and decisively. And visually seeing something counting down, or the sands falling down, and that is just an amazing visual and sensory thing in a weird way, because us actually seeing the sands counting down, it does just makes the heart pump a little bit more so than just describing the situation to your players. Actually having something at the table that they can see slowly, going down in some way, is just taking that tension and fear to the next level. And that's why it's an amazing thing to put in front of your players. Don't put it in front of your players for every single situation, because otherwise it loses its meaning, but for certain things it is an amazing tool in your DM toolkit to be able to spring out every now and again. Now let's quickly go into different types of timers that you can put in front of your players. So obviously you have the egg timer kind of thing here. This is an hour egg timer kind of thing. You can get egg timers at different levels. The thing with egg timers is obviously that although it is very amazing to be able to see the sands going down and whatnot, it is slightly harder to use. I'm not saying that you can't use it, it's just that it's hard to be able to know what's going to be going on for each second that sand is ticking down. Obviously if you're in combat, potentially you might have to put it to the side because combat can elongate time, because basically combat's supposed to be 6 seconds every single thing, and obviously the amount of time it takes for the players to go through takes considerably longer than that. You can still do it like that to put the pressure on, as I said, depending on what is happening, kind of thing, you can still have the timer because you might allow for the time that combat might take up, in terms of the fact that it is a longer one, basically, so this is an hour, and the time that you've basically got going on can be half an hour to 20 minutes, so you're trying to account for combats and whatnot that could happen. So you still can use a sand timer, and it can be a lovely visual thing to put in front of your players, but sadly it cannot be as effective. You can also use a simple timer on your phone or whatnot, or laptop, or if you've got a VTT in front of your players, an actual timer counting down in front of them as they are playing, you can do that as well, so they've got that visual of that. You can get an old school an alarm clock and actually set as a timer instead, yet again, so it's counting down, so you've got that kind of visual in front of the players as well. So yet again, it's the same kind of situation as the egg timer, whereby it might not 100% translate to turns and such like that, but it's still an amazing thing to put in front of your players. And there is certain situations where it is a good thing to put in front of your players, but we'll get to that when we get to different reasons to be able to use a timer. So the best thing that you can do to put a visual display of a timer in front of your players is an actual straight up a countdown thing on top of the DM screen, where it's going down from 10 to 9 and actually moving the dial down every single turn of combat, depending on what you want it to be. So it could maybe 6 turns, so it starts at the 6 and then you're counting your way down. You can also do this with dice. You can get a 6-sided die and put it on top of the DM screen or on the table, and every single turn of combat that goes by, you are moving it to the next one, so going from a 6 to a 5 and so on. And you're doing this visual countdown at the end of every turn of combat. This is the best and probably the best use that you can use of it in Dungeons and Dragons, because the players know that whatever is going to happen at the end of a certain round of combat, and so preparing for that and doing the best they can to prepare for that as they are seeing it ticking down in front of them at the end of every round of combat does add that angst and pressure, and knowing that they need to do something because they are literally watching the time run down every single turn that they are taking. So that is probably the best way that you can introduce this and put this in front of your players as a thing. I said it doesn't mean you can't use the timers, but that in terms of counting down every single turn of combat is the best representation that you can do, putting that in front of your players. Now, let's go into reasons why you're putting a timer in front of your players. Now, there are multitudes of different reasons to put timers in front of your players. This is only a few of them. I'm sure that you can come up with many yourself, but these are just some ideas that I'm going to float to get the inspiration juices going for you. And that is like number one, environmental problems. It can be maybe they are crossing a large bridge and suddenly it starts falling down. And then knowing that there's a timer that this bridge is going to completely collapse within this certain time gives them that pressure of moving forward. It also means like seeing the timer counting down. Do they decide to rescue people? Are there civilians on this bridge? Are there actually enemies on this bridge and potential combat going on? As the bridge is falling, there is combat going on which is trying to force the players to stay where they are as the bridge is collapsing section by section, and so they have to keep pressing forward even while combat is happening to them. So that is yet again a really good pressure thing to put in there. In terms of environmentally, it can be maybe that they are also in like a dungeon, a cave, something like that, and something happens which is now starting to collapse this dungeon or cave, even building that they are in terms of like a big explosion or whatnot happens, or earthquake, whatever, and starts to collapse on top of it, and they know that this whole thing is going to be coming down in a certain amount of turns, and so they have to get the hell out of here. And yet again, enemies and such can complicate that. If there is treasure, this can complicate the matters, because how much time do they spend staying behind to gather as much treasure as they can before they have to leave, like I said, they don't just get trapped down in here with it. So that's another great use of a timer to put the pressure on. You can also do this if a group of cultists or baddies and whatnot are doing a ritual, and the ritual will succeed within this many turns, so the players know that this countdown is going to be when the ritual will be fulfilled. Means that they've got to get their asses in gear and stop it from happening, because they know at the certain end of that turn, then whatever it is which is happening here could become a hell of a lot worse, like depending on what the ritual is happening, like summoning something from a different plane of existence, causing something or other to happen. I said like the reasons for the ritual can be multitude, but I said something like that is an amazing thing to have being counted down, so the players have to deal with it before the timer hits 0, otherwise the ritual will complete. And of course, a timer can simply just be a massive explosive device that the enemy or even the characters themselves have put to go off, because sometimes the players might want to blow up a building that is of the bad guys thing, and so they set a bomb, and so set in a timer, and that's where an actual timer can be an amazing resource kind of thing to put on the table, so that the players know they've only got this certain time to get out of the situation of the bomb that they have placed, otherwise they might go down with the building. If they've infiltrated somewhere stealthily to be able to plant this bomb, and then they're now trying to get out, different interactions and whatnot with people who oh, are you such and such? God, what the hell are you doing here? I thought things like that can really put the pressure on, because they're now I don't want to blow my cover, but also I really need to get out of here. As well as obviously if it's just a bomb that the baddies have set, maybe they've got to go in and defuse it, and slowly but surely seeing that timer go down, knowing that that's the timer that's been set, and they've got to make their way to the bomb firstly, and then obviously seeing the timer once it gets to a certain point, is it worth even continuing to go for this bomb, or is it now time to try to retreat because there is no way they're going to get there and defuse it? So putting that visual aid in front of the players can be such an amazing thing, and then that can drive their decision making, because obviously the pressure is on, and that's why I think it's something that you should put in your games. But what do you think? I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comment section down below. I know this is probably a much more shorter video than what I normally make, but I think it is a discussion that is worth having. As I said, I hope that there is some things in there that you might take to put into your games. If you did enjoy and want to see more things like this, then why not please consider subscribing to the channel, because I make D&D videos every week, and if you like this video, you might like some of the other things that I make, as well as obviously there is the Discord link down below if you want to join that, making a group of like-minded people who want to talk Dungeons and Dragons and that stuff. That sounds like fun. Please consider joining that. There is also the Patreon. You can join completely for free, and there are free resources that you can gain on there. There is also paid tier if you do want to support the channel, but do not feel forced. There is also the Etsy store of gaming treasure chests, but all the things on there are things that I have designed myself and will 3D print and send to you. So if you've got gifts that you want to get for a dungeon master or players around the table, then please consider that. But honestly, thank you so much for watching. I hope you found some of this enlightening. I know there was a lot of fun coming up with this. So until next time, goodbye.